Okay, our topic for this morning is getting ready for 2017. And how do we get ready for 2017? Well, what we're going to do this morning is we're going to look a little bit at our theme, the theme for the year, which has to do with living our values. Then we're going to look back at this last year and look at kind of what we're ready to let go of. And then we're going to look at intentions for the coming year, because that's where our power lies. Absolutely. So first, let's talk about values. The organizational design model for Centers for Spiritual Living says this. It says, we stand together in a shared commitment and devotion to our spiritual principles, practices, and values. The theme for our year is values-based spiritual living. So all year long, basically, we're going to be talking about different forms of applied spirituality, how we can take these principles and put them to work in our lives. For as we do, our lives thrive. Now these values, the values that are elucidated in our organizational design model, our next slide please, are spiritual living, diversity, inclusivity, education, creativity, transformation, evolution, accountability, integrity, open communication, love, compassion, caring, and community service. We're in a teaching that goes for the big things, goes for the important things, the things that can make a difference in our world. Dr. Ken Gordon, who is the spiritual leader for Centers for Spiritual Living, the big organization, wrote, how can we be ourselves? How can we be authentic when we don't know who we are? To establish and define our own values is the first step in awakening. The important aspect of this is to ensure that we articulate our values and not the values of others, whether they're provided by a spiritual organization, society, family, or any other outer voice. Our values must come from our own being. However, we should be very careful that these values are true values and not adjuncts to what we have picked up in society or projections of what we think we need to believe in order to get something outside of ourselves that we think we need. This year, we're going to examine and discuss the values that we hold to be true and that we have agreed upon as the collective body of religious scientists. And so, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm not here to tell you what values you need to take on, because we all know that if we don't take the values from within, if we're not tuned in to what wants to come through and what is true for us, it's not going to make a difference in our lives anyway. So that's the values piece for now. Now let's turn our attention to the past year. Quite a year for all of us, for our country, for just everything that's going on in our world. As you review the last year for a moment, what are you grateful for from 2016? Some of our blessings, of course, come in the form of people that we get to interact with. Some come in the form of abundance, maybe prosperity. Some of our blessings come in the form of opportunities that we've had the chance to take, that have been presented to us in wonderful ways. Who or what are you grateful for? What has made your heart sing in this past year? So, real quick, close your eyes and think of 5 things that you're grateful for. Okay, hope you got it to at least 20. And for many of us, there are some things that we might do differently if we had a chance to go back and do them over in this year. I mean, wouldn't it be great if we could really do do-overs when we needed to? What What might you choose to redo? What is it you'd like to release and let go of from 2016? What no longer serves you? Maybe there are things or relationships or activities that you have done that are not really serving your highest good. Maybe there are ways that you have been spending your money or your time or your precious life energy that don't feel like they are consistent with who you authentically are and who you are choosing to become. What would you like to let go of? Now, as you came in, you received a small piece of paper. And throughout the room, there are cups with pins in them. And you can take one of the pins, probably not one of the Sharpies. We don't really need Sharpies for this. But, and you get a chance to write down something that you would like to let go of from this last year. Now, nobody is going to see this paper except you. So be as honest as you can. What are you done with? What do you want to release? What do you want to let go of? Did you get a piece of paper? You didn't get a piece of paper here.
There you go. Thanks.
Yeah. I'm going to do mine real quick because I know. Now, I've given you a small piece of paper because we don't have all day. For some, there are lots and lots of things that you might like to let go of. And this is a process that you can always continue later. Once you have decided, and this is, of course, entirely optional. If you don't want to get up and do what I'm going to give you the opportunity to do, that is just fine. There are no requirements here. This is just an opportunity. But once you've written down what you want to let go of, you can come up and drop your paper in the water, stir it around and watch it dissolve. And as you do, I invite you to say silently, I release, I release, I release. So I drop it in, stir it around, and then you can return to your seats. So at this time, I invite anyone who would like to come up and do this releasing process, knowing that as we release, we open up for newness. You have all done some amazing releasing. Please know that this water is now being transformed. That you've released all this stuff into it, but what I declare and know to be true is that because everything is divine, this is transformed. When I pour it out on the living grass in the front that looks like it's asleep but it's living, it will feed the grass. What you have released will contribute to life, as well as opening you up to whatever is next. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So now let's talk about resolutions and intentions. It's said that New Year's resolutions, the beginning of that was over 4,000 years ago when the Babylonians had their 12-day festivals. Now, this is before they even had a written calendar, and yet they knew that there was a time when the new year was beginning. And so they made promises. They made promises to the gods as a way to pay their debts. Now, they believed that if they kept their promises, they would be in the favor of the gods and they would be blessed throughout the year. And if they didn't keep their promises, they were at the mercy of the gods, and who knows what might happen. So that's the origin of what we see in our world today as New Year's resolutions. Now, not so much anymore, but for years I made New Year's resolutions. For years, I would get ready. I would claim that I was going to lose weight. I was going to exercise more, eat the right food, and get really organized and stay that way, among other things. There were others as well. And you know, I don't know about you all, but it didn't really work that way. What I found is that it would work for a couple of weeks. It'd be really good. And then I'd start to feel bad because I just couldn't hang on to it. I just couldn't do these things that I knew I was supposed to do. My heart was just not in it. How about you? Anybody else ever? I see some nods. Yeah. Now, I know one woman who made her resolution in the form of a prayer. She said, "Dear God, my prayer this year is that I have a fat bank account and a thin body. Please don't mix it up like you did this year." And I love what Calvin says in this cartoon. I'm perfect the way I am. I'm perfect the way I am. Because there is that belief that we have, that we know that because Spirit is expressing into it as each of us, there is a perfection. There is a perfection. But I really like what one of my friends said last week. Every year I have made a resolution to change myself. This year, my intention is to be myself. This year, my intention is to be myself. And being yourself is more like an intention than like an old-fashioned resolution, don't you think? Because intentions are not about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to check off of my to-do list, but intentions about what I'm going to be. How I will let the qualities of the divine express and flow through my life. Now, some of the qualities of the divine are generosity, beauty, caring. What are some other qualities of the divine? Speak right up. Love.
Peace.
Peace.
Kindness.
What?
Kindness.
Kindness.
Self-forgiveness.
Self-forgiveness. Joy. You bet. And so the beginning of the year, this rich, rich time, when we are right here at the beginning of a year that we have never lived before, a brand new year. It's a great time to recommit to our intentions, to recommit to being used by the divine as a light in the world, to being who we have come here to be, to living who you authentically have come onto this planet at this time to live as. Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, wrote this: "The desire you have to be something, to do something, is a mental echo in your mind of the spirit which already exists within you. It is an impact of your divine and spiritual self upon your mental or psychological self. It is the spirit in you seeking an avenue of expression through you. It is the real self you would like to be. The deep spiritual self, having all knowledge, having access to all power, being one with life. This is the self that can heal the sick and raise the dead. It is transcendent, triumphant. It is the transcendent, triumphant self." So 2017 is a brand new year that has never been lived before. It will contain joys and challenges, successes, and it'll contain opportunities to learn and grow for all of us. If you happen to get through this year without any of those challenges and opportunities to learn and grow, talk to me. I need to learn some things from you. Now, because we know that our thoughts and our expectations, our attitudes and our actions and our commitments create our reality, taking time to set our intention is a powerful, powerful practice. So what do you want for this brand new year that's ahead of you? What's your intention? The Reverend Dr. David Alexander, who is on the Leadership Council for Centers for Spiritual Living, wrote this in the Science of Mind magazine last month. "Be intentional about carving out some sacred space and time to contemplate who you have come here to be. Then ask yourself what commitments you're willing to make to unfolding that self in the new year. Spirit is calling you home to your authentic self," he says. "Give yourself permission to go there. Give yourself permission to go there. For each of you have come with your gifts, with your talents, with your perspectives, with your ways of looking at the world. So now I invite you to take a quiet moment to go within and to ask the wisdom that is within you to reveal your highest intention. Ask yourself, what quality of the divine have I come here to show up as in 2017? What quality of the divine is seeking expression through me? What do I want to express or express more of in the coming year? So allow a single word to come up to you that represents the quality of your intention. A single word. So speak that word silently to yourself. Does this intention really fit? Not just something that you think you should intend, but but something that is coming from your heart. There are no right or wrong answers, of course. But feel that. How does your intention feel to your heart? Is that the word that fits the deepest part of who you are becoming? Now, once you have your intention word, gently open your eyes, grab a Sharpie, and on the polished glass piece, write that word. You may have to share, I think there should be plenty of Sharpies. The regular pens won't write. Now, it may be that you have a long word or a word that has a symbol. Feel free to use symbols, anything that will remind you of your word. If your word is love, you may want to draw a heart. If your word is prosperity, you can draw a dollar sign. And if your word isn't clear to you yet, not to worry, because this is just an opportunity, and this is something that you can revisit later. And always come up with what your word is, if you so desire. I think we have some artists in the room. Who knew that people could write for so long on one tiny little thing? I'm like impressed. Now, as you let your word, oh, they're still waiting. We're not quite all done yet. As you let your word or symbol dry, hold it in your hand and feel it being infused with the quality that you have written on it or symbolized on it. Feel each molecule of this polished glass piece being absolutely filled with this. And know that as you carry this around, as you put it in your pocket or on your altar or some other place that you can see, allow it to remind you that you are supported. You have guides and angels and helpers, spirit, whatever you want to claim, that are here for you, supporting you in living your highest intention for 2017. So I invite you to revisit this often. I invite you to remember that all of the power and the resources are here supporting you in living your magnificence, who you have come here to be, the blessing that you are in the world. And so, in this place, let's just move into that power. Move into the power of prayer that is here for us. Oh, I am so, so grateful. Grateful that we have been blessed, each of us with an intention, with a calling, whether it has come to us in this moment or not. Each of us is here to shine our light, here to bring our gifts, here to take our gifts into any challenges that we have, here to bring 2017 into the light of the divine as we can shine it. And so I know that all that we need to do this has already been provided. Each of our paths are filled with delightful reminders of who we have come here to be and how we are supported. And so we go forth as blessings, living authentically, being who we came here to be. Knowing that though we may choose many changes, that we do not need to change anything basic about us because we are made of divine stuff, divine intelligence. I know that this is the truth because I feel it, because I have spoken it. I know that it is true for each of us, and I can simply release it in my gratitude to that all-powerful law that knows how to manifest things from thoughts. So we let it go. We let it be. And I invite you to say with me, and so it is.